Thank you for being here, Brenda. It's so nice to have you, and welcome to Small Biz Diaries, where we really just chat about what it's really like to be a small business owner, an entrepreneur. And you're one of the people that stood out to me, obviously, with my journey in fitness and working with you, and just your motivation that I see daily on social media. So I'm really happy to have you here, and I'd love to have give you the opportunity to introduce yourself.
Okay, well, first things first, thank you for having me. I'm so excited to chat all things business. But yeah, my name's Brenda. I'm 23 years old. I'm an online coach and also content creator. So it's been a journey getting to where I am today, but I'm excited to dive all things into it.
Yeah, thank you. I know, me too. I did already go to the gym today, so I can like check that off on
I
my
love
account.
that. Me
um,
too, me too.
oh, good, good. And yeah, I think with what you've shared about your story and just working with you in general, one thing that's really stood out and I would love for you to speak towards is I think you've had, I believe, with Brenda for 2 years now or over 2 years.
Yeah, I've had it for almost 2 years now. I can't believe time has flown so quick, but yeah, 2 years it's been.
So yeah, a lot has happened because I feel like we're close to a year working together. So that within itself is crazy. But
Yeah.
one of the things that we've spoken about, offline is just how important, putting in the sweat equity is to building your business or building your passion, and really how persisting and making sure you believe in yourself is such an important part of the journey, the ebbs and flows of being an entrepreneur. I'd love to see if you can share a little bit about how you got started and just how those things really came into play for you.
Yeah, of course. So, like I said, it's been a journey. And I think my journey really started in college when I really had a passion for fitness. I just didn't know what exactly I could do. It's always been something that I loved. And as I was coming to graduate, I was like, okay, I have all this time to dedicate. Do I either pursue fitness full time or do I just get a job with my marketing degree? And at the time, I was presented with a lot of self doubt just because I didn't know if I had the potential, if I could believe in myself to build a business, be on social media. So it was definitely a lot of back and forth. But I think I really just reminded myself that, okay, I graduated college. I have the flexibility of still living at home. I can rely on my family to not have to worry about rent or worry about all these expenses. So I decided to invest in myself, got certified as a personal trainer. And as I was just posting on social media, I saw, you know what, I think that there's potential here that I can create something for myself. But again, there was a lot of self doubt and a lot of self imposter syndrome. But I just kind of had to shut all that out and remind myself that if I'm able to create something from this, then it's going to have to come from work. And I think that really just reminded me from a gym standpoint that progress only happens as you come into the gym like day after day, month after month, year after year. So even the beginning when it felt so far out of reach, I just reminded myself to that principle that I correlated from the gym. And yeah, it's been a journey. I just can't believe I am where I am today. Of course, there's so much more growth to be had, but I just have learned so much about myself and just what believing in yourself really can be out for you. And I just think that as long as you don't give up and as long as you continue to put in the work, like you genuinely can't fail. So yeah, it's been a big, big, long journey, but I'm just so happy to, have had this journey, this experience, because now I'm able to motivate and inspire hundreds of women on my platform, but also throughout my coaching platform as well, to be their best selves and also to fully believe in themselves, especially in a fitness standpoint. So I'm just like honored to be in this position to really impact women because that's always been something that's been important to me.
Yeah, no, I love that. Thank you for sharing it. And obviously, um, it's crazy, I'm sure for you, like speaking all of that into existence of the timeline of things and seeing where you are now, which is really, really cool. Do you feel like if you were to get taken back to that pivotal moment where, you had your degree and you were applying to agency or marketing type positions, what were your emotions going through that, like knowing that you're either taking one path of using your degree to apply to a 9 to 5, or you're like, pivoting to something completely different that you might have not envisioned, necessarily going to college for. Walk me through like that thought process and like the feelings that you had during that time to like, take that leap of faith.
Yeah, of course. I think that was a hard time for sure, just because, of course, there's LinkedIn. A lot of people are posting their job acceptance and where they're currently headed. So there was definitely a lot of comparison at the time for myself of like, should I go for the marketing job or should I pursue something for myself? And I won't lie, I definitely first went off and I was, let me just get a marketing job and be safe. But at the time, I actually got denied from almost every job that I applied to. So I was like, maybe this is a sign. Maybe this isn't something that's supposed to be for me. So I was like, you know what? Hey, I'm going to put myself first. I'm going to invest in myself and I'm going to try because the last thing that you can do is just learn something from this opportunity. Let me just try for this. And I just never gave up. And that's why I think I am where I am today. But I also just really believed in myself. There was something within me that was telling me not to go for the 9 to 5 or the marketing job. I just felt like I had a other purpose in this life, and now it definitely makes sense, but there was definitely a lot of back and forth. Should I be doing this? Should I not be doing this? I also felt a little bit isolated just because a lot of other people were excelling in their careers, getting these crazy job opportunities, and for me I'm like, I'm trying to pursue social media and also be my own boss, open my own business, and I just like wasn't able to feel confident in sharing that to other people because I felt like no one saw that vision. So I definitely felt super isolated at the time, but my parents are entrepreneurs, so they were always super supportive of me and my decisions. Honestly, I think that time was hard, but it's really important to surround yourself with people that also see your vision and support your vision. And just being at home, living with them, my family has definitely helped me also stay grounded into where I wanted to be.
Yeah, no, it's true, especially like with the entrepreneurial journey doesn't really have a clear path, right? You kind of have a sense of where you want to go, but sometimes you don't have like as much of a checkpoint as if you have a 9 to 5. Like with a 9 to 5, you're like, okay, I'm in this current position. This is what I can do to get to my next position. And then, if I want to be where my manager is, like this is what I can do to get there. So like there's a little bit more like step by step. Whereas once you take the entrepreneurial route, there's less steps per se. It's more of just trying to hone in on the direction that you want to go in and keeping yourself accountable or having things in place or people in place that help keep you accountable. There's really no like roadmap as much as we'd love there to be. I think I can resonate in that sense 100%. Do you feel like when there are days that it's a little bit harder, whether it's because you don't have I know now you have a team or you have someone else with you. But before, or even now, like when it's a little bit hard or you're struggling with what to do next, what do you feel like helps you get to the next step now as where you are in your business?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. Just as you said, that there's not a roadmap for what's next. There's not promotion. It's kind of like, am I doing a good job? Can I be doing better? It's really hard because it's a self-talk within yourself. And I think as entrepreneurs, you're just extra hard on yourself. You're extra critical. You are just always picking apart literally everything because this is something that you're so passionate in. So that has literally been me throughout the past 2 years. So in that time, like I definitely was like, super in my head, but I, had a team that helped me stay grounded and it also helped me brainstorm different ideas of like where to expand, what to do next. And I think, like I said before, having people that support your vision and really support it um, will only help you get out of your head. Like the more that you are able to let out your thoughts, let out your ideas and have someone actually hear you out and be like, you know what, that's a good idea. Have you thought about X, Y, and Z? That's when things start clicking more. So for me, that really is, like I'm so close with my family. My family is like my number one support system. They have seen my vision from day one. Like I'm very close with my brother. He's a very analytical person and I'm more of the creative. So any type of ideas that I've had, I've always been able to just open up and tell him, and he's always been so helpful in, helping me with the process, but also helping me see things from another point of view. So I feel like I've learned a lot about myself, also through him seeing it from his point of view, because again, sometimes all of this on your plate is like a lot to manage by yourself. So it's just really important to, have people to just kind of go back and forth with. Just how people, when they have a job and they have a 9 to 5, they're able to talk to their coworker, talk to their manager, their supervisor. Like in the entrepreneurial route, you don't have that. So it's important to surround yourself with a good team, surround yourself with people who see your vision so that A, you're motivated to keep going, and B, you just don't feel isolated and get in your head too much.
Yeah, no, it's true. I think especially with um you having a very good example with fitness, and I think that within itself has helped you with the discipline. I feel like even for me in my small journey, it does help set discipline and like consistency in your routine, or like in something that helps you like ground the components of what it is you're trying to build. So yeah, I'm glad that your support system was there. And I think it's true, when you're an entrepreneur, you don't have as much of a support system within a team. So finding mentors, finding coaches, or finding family members, someone that helps you feel a little bit more invested in what you're doing or helps motivate you. I know I even like just sometimes watch podcasts to like help motivate myself or move forward, because there are days where it's tough. So it's just like, what can I do to help get me out of this funk or help get me into the next
Yeah.
step? Because it's true. It's just there's a lot of noise, um,
Yeah.
like a day to day. So the more we can do to like hone in on what it is we want to like do to move us forward, the better.
I think one thing though that also is important that I'm just now remembering is not being afraid to reach out to people, because a lot of people are willing to help or give their advice or their expertise. For example, when I first started out, like this whole world of online coaching, this whole world of social media was just something that I really didn't know. So, reaching out to people that are experts in that field that have built a strong business, I reached out. I just how people, when they are trying to get that next job, in the corporate world, they reach out to that person to give them advice of what they should be doing. I did the same thing when I started my journey. I saw some successful online coaches, people who were killing it in the social media game, and I reached out and I just, had nothing to lose of being like, "Hey, I really appreciate all the work that you're doing. I see it. I really just want to learn a little bit more about how you're doing X, Y, and Z." And you'd be surprised, a lot of people in the industry and just in general are willing to help as long as you are putting yourself out there and you're showing that you have interest. Like people really will help you. And I think that has definitely helped me just to put myself in the process of, if they did it, so can I. It's not rocket science. It's not like this person is better than me or it's a competition. Like, A, there's room for everyone to succeed. And B, nothing is impossible. Like, I always have had the thought process of like, if that person did it, so can I. And it's just gonna take me some time, but I'll do it. I'll get through it. And I think that has always helped me kind of like stay grounded and also stay motivated, because I genuinely get super motivated by people's success. Like I don't see it as envy. I don't see it as something that makes me feel uncomfortable. Like I genuinely see people succeed and I'm like, wow, that is so inspirational. I'm so happy for them. And, that's going to be me one day. So I think also having that thought process as well, because sometimes we get in the self comparison game too much and we just get a little bit jealous. And that is just like not the route to take, especially in the entrepreneurial space.
Yeah, no, it's true. It's like that story of the 4 minute mile, where I think it was like in the 1950s, Roger Bannister completed the first 4 minute mile, and everyone thought it was completely impossible until he did it. And then I think it was like months after he did it, so many other people broke the 4 minutes. You have to realize that the impossible is possible. It's just a matter of getting there and visualizing yourself getting there, or finding someone to be like, if this person did it, why can't I?
Right.
And moving towards that. We just get in the way of ourselves, in a sense, just because it's like you start making all these excuses, like, oh, well, what if they don't respond? Or like, what if this makes me look like I don't have my shit together or something?
Right.
Sometimes you just have to put your ego aside and say, you know what, like you said, there's nothing to lose. Like they can say no, and that's fine. Like maybe someone else will say yes. Uh,
Right.
so I'm glad you said that, because I definitely think it's part of that belief in yourself too, right? Do you feel, obviously you have a bunch of people you're coaching, not just me. What do you feel like is the toughest thing for people to overcome in their fitness journey that you think is and continues to be an obstacle?
Yeah, I think in this case, and also I think this is outside of fitness as well, is like, we see that goal. We go into this program and we are like, okay, I want to have a big butt, I want to build my legs, and I want to have toned arms. And then we're just putting that picture in the front of our minds. And then we're forgetting about the day to day work, the week to week work, the month to month work, year to year work, because that takes time. So I think that sometimes we as a society just crave fast, quick results in life, in business, in fitness. And it's just so important for us to really remind ourselves that anything good that we achieve in this life takes time. Fitness, business, life, like I said. And I think sometimes we just really need to ground ourselves and remind ourselves of that daily, because sometimes we're just caught up in the moment. We just want things quick, quick, quick. Like we live in a very fast paced society, and sometimes we just forget that there is beauty in the journey. And I
Mhm.
think that is something that I have to remind clients about and people about, that this is a beautiful thing that you are embarking on. You are starting at a place, maybe you're not happy with yourself, but think about how far you're going to come in 6 months. You're going to feel different, you're going to have different habits, you're going to look different, you're going to eat different, you're going to you know think different as well. There's just like so much benefits in the journey that you find day to day. And also, you find yourself more because, of course, throughout that time, there's going to be struggles, there's going to be hurdles, and they still have to pick themselves back up and continue the journey. So I think, again, there's just such beauty in the journey. And I just have to remind clients of that so much because, like I said, nothing good happens overnight. And as long as we understand that the journey is where we really find ourselves, then I think, obviously you're going to be successful.
Yeah. And plus, I feel like imposter syndrome kind of came about with social media because it's so much easier to just like be scrolling or like, oh, she has a bigger butt than I do, or like, oh,
Yeah.
like she's way more toned than I am. Like I'm not there yet. So it's like we constantly are trying to compare ourselves, but you're really only in competition with yourself. Like you just have to switch the mindset of like I am continuing to work towards where I want to go and filter out a little bit of the noise.
Yeah.
That's
And I also say, like, social media is very much a highlight reel.
Mhm.
Obviously, people are only sharing their like highlights, their physique and all that stuff, but we all go through moments where, we also have self-imposter syndrome as well. And I think that's really where it's important to not compare, especially just as someone who's starting out their fitness journey, because you never know, that person that you're following, they're probably on their like year 10 of their fitness journey, or maybe they are dealing with self-imposter syndrome themselves. Like you really don't know too much about the person. So
Yeah.
it's just important to really use people as motivation for sure. Like, oh, I like how this person is waking up early and going to the gym. I like how they have a structured workout routine. I like how they're disciplined. But when it comes down to like a side by side comparison of this person has this body and this person has that body and I'm just nowhere close to that, then it starts getting more toxic. So I think taking away that side of social media is very important. I think social media is a great tool to just connect and find inspiration, but sometimes it could be toxic, not even just in a fitness standpoint, just in life. Some people are just posting their glamorous life. And again, it's a highlight reel. And we just need to remind ourselves that, there is beauty within our life as well. So not
Yeah.
to just get in a comparison loophole.
Agreed. It's an important distinction, I think, to be aware of that. Like, am I getting motivated by this, or am I comparing myself to a detriment, where
Right,
it's
exactly.
where it's not helping me right now.
Yeah.
So it's true. Well, I mean, I think I've been loving everything that you've been saying, and it's been resonating with me. I know it's going to resonate with others too. Do you feel like, from the small business entrepreneurial side of things, what do you feel like is your biggest struggle right now or biggest challenge? Obviously, you've grown your business to where it is now, and you've been able to work with incredible brands, which I'm sure was on a vision board or maybe was one of the like potential highlights. But yeah, what do you feel like is something that's next for you, or something that you're like struggling with, or a challenge?
Yeah, yeah, of course. I think as an entrepreneur and as someone who is, again, only in my own lane, and it's again, we were just talking about that self-critical standpoint. I think for me personally, that I what I struggle with is feeling like I'm never doing too much. Like, I think I'm always looking for the next thing, I'm always looking for the next milestone, and then I forget to look back on, wow, like, look at how much I've achieved, look at what I've built, look at what I've done this past year, how much I've accomplished. So I think for me, just being more present in where I'm currently at right now, what I've achieved in the past, and knowing that, yes, the future is important to think of and it's important to have goals, but it's not good for anyone to just hyperfixate on that and then just want more, 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 and then completely forget about what was already done, what you've already accomplished. So for me, like I said, just being present and celebrating wins, being proud of yourself, being grounded, and yeah, just being grateful because again, I could never have imagined my life to be where I am today, and I feel like I hate saying that because it's like, "Oh, I'm just like, I'm so happy, like I've achieved X, Y, and Z." And then I'm like, I feel like I haven't done anything, because I'm still wanting more or more milestones to hit. So I think just being more grounded is a goal of mine for this year. It's been a long journey these past 2 years, but I've learned so much about myself, and I'm excited to continue to grow and also continue to celebrate any wins or milestones that I achieve along the way.
Yeah, well, you recently had your first or I want to say it's your first in-person class,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
I was so excited about that. I have had the goal as well to just like continue to push myself outside of my comfort zone. Public speaking, like just talking in front of people, even though it's my community, has never been a strong suit of mine. Like, I always was the person in the class, like dreading to present that PowerPoint to the teacher, like literally shaking and sweating. So for me now, like standing in front of an audience and being able to share my passion and share my motivation, or just be in a room with like-minded women and be the leader, has been something that's always been a goal of mine. But it's sometimes out of my comfort zone because, public speaking for anyone is a little bit like, it's intimidating, no matter how confident you are in the topic. So for me, that was something outside of my comfort zone. And then as soon as I was there, I was like, wow, this is just such a great experience. Like, we are just in a room, there's so much energy, everyone's loving the environment, they are so motivated with fitness, everyone just has like-minded goals, and we're just like-minded women. So when we all come together in the room, like, it was just powerful, and I was just so happy to be leading that class, leading that event, and I just hope to have more in-person community events soon.
Yeah, no, it was so cool to see. I was like, dang, I wish I was in New York or like in that area. That'd be so cool. But maybe your next goal is to do different stops. So, I mean, if you ever make
Yeah, but
Florida,
sky's
yeah,
the limit, you never know, but I was loving it, and, I think just expanding far beyond New York would be a bigger goal I have, but yeah, it was an incredible time.
yeah, no, let's speak it into existence now. You'll
I
make
love that.
yeah, you'll make it to different states. Hopefully Florida first. Thank you for just answering it so openly, especially because obviously we all have our ebbs and flows in business and successes and wins. But still, like it's true, we can be harsh on ourselves, and especially because we don't have monthly reviews or quarterly reviews with a manager or whoever. So it's really just a matter of like keeping yourself accountable and like trying to balance wanting to continuously succeed without really like burning out or just like putting too much unrealistic pressure on yourself. It's like a trying to find that healthy balance for you, which is different for everybody, right? Like you can't expect everybody to work the same way. Well, I have one last question for you. And again, thank you for everything that you've shared. My last question is just obviously through your journey and through your success with fitness content creation, fitness coaching, what advice would you give someone who is interested in that or is interested in pursuing a career or an entrepreneurial route of fitness coaching or just fitness content creation and distinguishing the two in terms of what your life looks like with that as well, if that helps.
I think the biggest tip that I would really give anyone is And it sounds so simple, it really does, but is really just going for it. Like if there's an inkling thought in your head that's like this is something that I really want to do, but I don't know. Like if you were thinking about it for a single second, like you do want to do it. And I think it's just getting over that self imposter syndrome and those thoughts in your head being like, oh, I can't do this because I'm not in this shape, or I don't have this house, I don't have this aesthetic, I'm not, photogen whatever the case is, because I feel like we literally come up with a list of reasons why we shouldn't do something. What if I did this 2 years ago? Like there's no time like the present. So if you are wanting to create fitness content, if you're wanting to record yourself in the gym, if you're wanting to share your journey, like literally do it. You have nothing to lose. I know it's sometimes scary also opening up to the world and putting yourself out there because yes, of course there are going to be people that judge you, but no one's opinions are going to matter as much as the one that you have of yourself. Like that is the only opinion that you need to really care about. And that is literally just my biggest tip is just be you, post whatever you want, post what makes you happy. And yeah, just don't forget to like obviously not give up, but just don't forget that this is a process as well. Like success or building a community or working with your dream brands doesn't happen overnight. It does take time, but as long as you're consistent and as long as you're not giving up and as long as you're having fun with the content that you're putting out, like it should be an enjoyable process for you.
Yeah, no, that's a perfect way to end on, putting in that sweat equity, right? To make sure that
Yeah.
you're really building what you want to build, daily, weekly, monthly. Thank you so much, again, and I'd love to give the opportunity for you to just share, anything that people should be aware about, whether it's like something that you have coming up for you, or like just your handles, your username handles, so that people can connect with you. Anything that you'd want to share.
Yeah, well, I don't have any events coming up yet. Those are going to be in the works, so we'll have to
Okay.
figure out a date. But I finally changed my Instagram names from Brenda Fit to my full name, Brenda Anton, two A's, two N's, which is kind of like a big deal for me because when I first started my account, I was just like, I'm just a fitness girl. Like, I'm just posting push, pull, glutes. Like, I was very much fitness oriented. And then I was like, you know what? I'm in this new era. Like, I want to post more about me, who I am, the gym. Like I've just expanded my audience and I've also expanded my interests as well. So it's been a lot of fun to post different types of content and things that make me feel like me. So
Yeah.
yeah, those are my new handles on Instagram and TikTok. Brenda Anton, two A's, two N's. I wish it was like only one A, one N, but everything's taken now on social media.
Yeah, I know. It's so true. Yeah. And then you have Believe W Brenda, right? For your other
Yeah, I
account.
believe with Brenda for my coaching page.
Yeah. Amazing. Well, you heard it. Go connect with her, go follow her. Again, she's keeping me accountable and it's been amazing. So I'm really thankful for your time and for your energy, honestly. Just because I said this last time we spoke, but if I hadn't already worked out, I would have want my workout scheduled right after this call.
I
Um,
love that.
oh, we're excited to like just really dive into this with you and obviously have people connect. So thanks again.
Yeah, well, thank you so much. It's been so nice sharing my story. I hope that I've been able to touch someone and inspire someone in some way. And yeah, I'm just happy to have done this.